Can a single act of kind change a life forever?
Imagine this. A little black girl named Layla, with her heart full of compassion, spots an old man, Mr. Thompson, sitting all alone at a restaurant, his birthday marked by a single cupcake and a flickering candle. What does she do? She decides to join him, turning a lonely evening into a heartwarming celebration that radiates joy. But hold on, Layla has no idea that her small gesture will spark a chain of events that'll transform not just one life, but an entire community. How does her empathy reshape the world around her? What surprising twists await? Stick around to find out, and hey, drop a comment below to share where you're tuning in from today. If this story tugs at your heartstrings, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join our journey of hope and connection.
Picture 10. The warm glow of a sunset paints the sky in vibrant orange and pink, casting a magical light over a key street in a cozy neighborhood.
Layla, an 8-year-old with big brown eyes that sparkle like stars, skips hand in hand with her father, James, a kind-hearted man whose smile always makes her feel safe. They're headed to Mama Rosa's, their favorite family restaurant, a Friday night tradition that fills their hearts with warmth. The air is alive with a mouth-watering scent of freshly baked bread and simmering tomato sauce, making Layla's stomach growl with excitement. "Daddy, do you think Mama Rosa made her special garlic knots tonight?" she asks, her voice bubbling with anticipation. James chuckles, giving her tiny hand a gentle squeeze. "Oh, sweet pea, I sure hope so. You know those are my favorite too, right?" Layla giggles, her pigtails bouncing as they near the restaurant, already dreaming of those buttery, garlicky treats. As they step closer, the cheerful chatter of families and friends spills out onto the sidewalk, like a song of togetherness.
The rustic wooden sign above Mama Rosa's door creaks softly in the evening breeze, as if whispering a warm welcome.
Inside, the restaurant is a haven of love and laughter.
"Good evening, James. Hello there, little Miss Layla."
Mama Rosa greets them with a beaming smile, her round face flushed from the heat of the kitchen, her apron dusted with flour like a canvas of her culinary magic.
"Your usual tablets ready for you."
Layla's grin could light up the room.
Mama Rosa.
"Did you make garlic knots today? Please say yes." Mama Rosa winks, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "Of course I did, my darling. I'd never let my 2 favorite customers down." She leads them to their cozy corner booth, where the soft glow of a candle flickers invitingly. The restaurant buzzes with life, families laugh over heaping plates of pasta, couples share whispered secrets over candlelit tables, and the clinking of forks and knives weaves a comforting symphony. Layla slides into the booth, her legs swinging happily under the table as she takes in the familiar sights. James settles across from her, his face softening as he gazes at his daughter, his pride in her shining brighter than the sunset outside. "So, how was school today, Layla? Anything exciting happen?"
Layla's eyes light up like firework.
"Oh, Daddy, it was amazing. We learned about butterflies. Can you believe they start as caterpillars, then hide in a cocoon, and poof, they turn into beautiful butterflies? It's like magic, isn't it?" James listens, his heart swelling as Layla's animated story unfolds, her hands fluttering like those butterflies she's describing. But then, a quiet movement at the far end of the restaurant catches his eye. An elderly man, dressed in a neat but slightly worn tweed jacket, his white hair combed with care, has just been seated at a small table by the window. His face carries a heavy mix of weariness and resignation, a stark contrast to the joyful chaos around him. Why does he look so out of place? Layla, ever perceptive, notices her father's distraction and follows his gaze. "Daddy, why does that man look so sad?" she whispers, her voice tinged with worry. James turns back to her, amazed by her tender heart. "I'm not sure, sweet pea. Sometimes, when people get older, they might feel lonely. It can be hard, you know." Their conversation drifts back to butterflies and school, but Layla's eyes keep darting to the man. Then, Mama Rosa approaches his table, her voice warm and kind. "Mr. Thompson, it's so good to see you again."
"Happy birthday." Layla's ear perk up. "Birthday?"
She watches, her heart stirring, as Mama Rosa places a small cupcake with a single candle before Mr. Thompson. His lips curve into a faint smile, but it's like a shadow, his eyes stay dim, untouched by joy. "Daddy," Layla whispers urgently, "why is Mr. Thompson all alone on his birthday? Doesn't he have anyone to celebrate with?" James sighs, his voice soft and careful. "Well, Layla, Sometimes as people get older, they lose touch with friends or family. Or maybe they don't have family left. It can feel really lonely, sweetheart. Layla's brow furrows, her young mind grappling with the weight of that truth. She watches Mr. Thompson blow out his candle with a small tired puff, his shoulders slumping as if the world's pressing down on him. But Daddy, nobody should be alone on their birthday, she declares, her voice fierce with determination. Can we go say hi? Maybe we could sing him a birthday song. Wouldn't that make him smile? James hesitates, not wanting to intrude, but Layla's earnest face, those wide hopeful eyes, melts his heart. How can he say no to such kindness?
That a beautiful idea, Layla.
But let's check with Mama Rosa first, okay? We don't want to bother him. Layla nods, practically bouncing with eagerness. James waves Mama Rosa over, explaining Layla's wish.
Mama Rosa's eyes glisten with tears. Oh, bless your sweethearts.
Mr. Thompson's a dear soul who's been coming here for years. He'd love the company, I'm sure. With her blessing, Layla slides out of the booth, smoothing her favorite yellow dress, its sunny hue like a burst of hope. James follows, his chest tight with pride as they approach Mr. Thompson's table. Excuse me, Mr. Thompson, James says gently. The old man looks up, his faded blue eyes wide with surprise. I hope we're not interrupting, but my daughter Layla heard it's your birthday, and she wanted to wish you well. Mr. Thompson's weathered face softens into a genuine smile as he sees Layla.
Well, hello there, young lady.
That's awfully kind of you. Layla steps forward, a touch shy but brimming with courage.
Happy birthday, Monsieur Thompson.
I hope it's okay, but I thought you might like some company to celebrate. Birthdays are supposed to be happy, right? His eyes widen, a flicker of emotion breaking through his somber mask. I'd like that very much, actually. Thank you, dear. James pulls up a chair, and Layla climbs onto it, her feet dangling as she beams at Mr. Thompson. How old are you today? She asks, her curiosity as bright as her dress. Mr. Thompson chuckles, a rusty sound that hints at long-forgotten laughter.
I'm 75 today, believe it or not.
Layla gasps. Wow, that's so many birthdays. What's your favorite kind of cake? As he answers, James watches, astonished, as Mr. Thompson's whole demeanor shifts. The weight on his shoulders seems to lift, replaced by a spark of life. When I was a boy, my mother made the best chocolate cake with vanilla frosting, he says, his voice warm with memory, his eyes far away. I haven't tasted one like that in years.
Layla's face lights up. Chocolate cake is my favorite too. Daddy make me one every year for my birthday, don't you, Daddy?
James nods, his heart swelling at the sight of this unlikely pair. That's right, sweet pea. Maybe next year, we'll bake an extra one for Mr. Thompson, huh? Layla's innocent questions draw out stories from Mr. Thompson's long life, tales of growing up in a small town, adventures as a young man, and years spent teaching children. Each memory seems to peel away a layer of sadness, making him look younger, lighter. As they chat, Mama Rosa approaches, a knowing smile on her face, carrying a small chocolate cake topped with a single candle. Hope you don't mind, Mr. Thompson, but I overheard you. We always keep a chocolate cake ready, just in case. Mr. Thompson's eyes mist over, his voice trembling. Oh my, I don't know what to say. Layla claps her hands, bouncing in her seat.
Make a wish, Monsieur Thompson.
Quick, before the candle melts. He closes his eyes, a moment of quiet hope, then blows out the candle with a strong puff. The table erupts in cheers, and nearby diners join in, their applause rippling through the restaurant like a wave of joy.
Mama Rosa slices the cake, and Monsieur Thompson tourne tout Layla, his eyes twinkling.
Young lady, this is the best birthday I've had in ages. Thank you for your kindness. Layla grins, chocolate frosting smudged on her chin. You're welcome. Nobody should be alone on their birthday, ever. James watches, his heart so full it might burst. How could one small act create such magic? Layla's compassion has turned a lonely night into a celebration of connection, a reminder that love can bloom in the simplest moments. As the evening winds down, Mr. Thompson shakes James's hand, his grip warm and firm. You've got a remarkable daughter, sir. Her heart's a rare treasure. James nods, resting a hand on Layla's shoulder.
Thank you, Monsieur Thompson. Happy birthday again.
As they leave Mama Rosa's, Layla's hand tucked safely in his, James feels like they've all been given a gift, a shining lesson in the power of kindness. Under the twinkling stars, their world feels brighter, warmed by a new friendship forged in that cozy restaurant. But oh, what's this? Little do they know, this chance encounter is about to set off a chain of events that'll change their lives forever. The next morning, sunlight sneaks through the curtains of their cozy apartment, bathing the living room in a golden glow. Layla sits cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by her favorite coloring books and crayons, her pigtail swaying as she hums a tune. James bustles in the kitchen, the scent of pancakes and coffee filling the air, a Saturday morning ritual they cherish. "Daddy, can we go to the park later?" Layla calls out, her crayon dancing across the paper. "I want to see if the ducklings hatched yet. Wouldn't that be so cute?" James chuckles, flipping a pancake with ease. "Sure thing, sweet pea."
Let's pack a picnic and make a day of it. Sound good. Layla's eyes sparkle.
Yay. Can we bring extra bread for the ducks? They love it. You bet, James replies, sliding a pancake onto a plate.
Now, come eat your breakfast before it gets cold.
As Layla scrambles to her feet, a sharp knock echoes through the apartment. James frowns, puzzled. Who could be visiting this early on a Saturday? He wipes his hands on a dish towel and heads to the door. "Coming," he calls, unlocking the deadbolt, his heart suddenly racing. What could this be about?
The door swings open, and James freezes.
Two police officers stand there, one a tall, broad-shouldered man with a stern face, the other a shorter woman with kind eyes that soften her crisp uniform. "Good morning, sir," the man says, his voice deep and official. "I'm Officer Johnson, and this is Officer Chun."
Are you James Wilson?
James nods, a knot of worry tightening in his stomach. "Yes, that's me. Is something wrong?" Officer Chun steps forward, her tone gentle but firm. "Mr. Wilson, we need to speak with your daughter, Layla. Is she here?" James's protective instincts flare. "What's this about?"
Layla est only 8.
Officer Johnson's expression softens slightly.
We understand, Monsieur Wilson.
"We're investigating something related to an elderly man your daughter met last night at a local restaurant. Just a few questions, that's all."
James's mind races back to Mama Rosa's, to Monsieur Thompson's lonely birthday.
What could have happened?
Daddy, who is at the door?
Layla's voice chirps from behind him. She peeks around his leg, her eyes widening at the officers' uniforms. James rests a hand on her shoulder. "Sweetie, these officers want to talk about Mr. Thompson, the man we met last night. Is that okay?" Layla nods, her curiosity tinged with worry. "Let's sit in the living room," James suggests, ushering the officers inside. He guides Layla to the couch, sitting close, his arm around her. Officer Chun leans forward, her voice warm. "Layla, we heard you did something so kind last night, keeping Mr. Thompson company on his birthday. Can you tell us about it?" Layla glances at James, who nods encouragingly.
She take a deep breath.
"Well, we were at Mama Rosa's for dinner, like every Friday. I saw Mr. Thompson all alone, and Mama Rosa brought him a cupcake, 'cause it was his birthday. He looked so sad, so I asked Daddy if we could say hi." Officer Johnson jots notes in a small pad, while James watches, his heart pounding. "That was so thoughtful, Layla," Officer Chun says, smiling. "What did you talk about with Mr. Thompson?"
Anything unusual?
Layla thinks hard, her brow furrowing. "Not really. He told me stories about when he was young and being a teacher. He loved the chocolate cake Mama Rosa brought. He said it was like his mom's." Officer Johnson looks up. "Did he mention any family or friends, anyone he'd see after dinner?"
Layla shook her head.
"No, he didn't. He just said it was his best birthday in a long time."
James's unis gross.
Why are they asking so many questions? Finally, he can't hold back. "Officers, please, what's going on? Is Mr. Thompson okay?" The officers exchange a glance, and Officer Chun's voice softens. "Mr. Wilson, I'm so sorry to tell you, but Mr. Thompson was found unresponsive in his home last night. Paramedics couldn't revive him."
The word hit like a thunderbolt.
James's breath catches, and Layla's eyes fill with tears. You mean Mr. Thompson died? She whispers, her voice trembling. Officer Chun nods, her eyes kind.
Yes, sweetheart.
I'm so sorry. Layla buries her face in James's side, her sobs quiet but heart-wrenching. James holds her tight, his own eyes stinging. I don't understand, he says, his voice hoarse. He seemed fine last night, maybe lonely, but not sick. Officer Johnson clears his throat. That's what we're trying to figure out, Mr. Wilson. Since you and Layla were likely the last to see him, we needed your perspective. Layla looks up, her face streaked with tears. Did we do something wrong? Did we make him sick?
Oh no, sweetie.
Officer Chun says quickly.
You did nothing wrong. You gave Monsieur Thompson a beautiful last evening.
Be proud of that.
James fuglait la closer, torn between pride and sorrow.
Is there anything else you need? He asks, longing to comfort his daughter. Officer Johnson stands, tucking away his notepad. No, you've been so helpful. We'll reach out if needed. As James walks them to the door, Officer Chun pauses. Mr. Wilson, this is tough, but Layla's kindness made Mr. Thompson's final hours special. Hold on to that. As the door closes, James returns to the couch, wrapping Layla in his arms.
Daddy, why did Monsieur Thompson die?
He was so nice, she sobs. James strokes her hair, his voice gentle. Sometimes, sweetie, it's just someone's time. But you made his last birthday happy.
D'était sa gift, Layla.
They sit together, the pancakes cold, as James marvels at life's fragility. Yesterday, they shared laughter with a stranger, today they mourn him. What a whirlwind of emotions. The morning blurs, and James calls his sister, Angela, to share the news. She offers to come over, but James declines, needing time with Layla. By afternoon, the neighborhood buzzes with whispers of the police visit. James's phone pings with messages from curious neighbors. As he prepares lunch, another knock sounds. Mrs. Gonzalez, their next-door neighbor, her face etched with concern. James, I heard what happened.
How are you and Layla holding up? James force a smile.
We're okay, Mrs. Gonzalez. It's a shock, but we're managing. Mrs. Gonzalez nods, her voice warm. Everyone's talking, some worried, but most think Layla's act was beautiful. What a heart she has. Layla emerges, clutching her stuffed elephant, her eyes puffy. Mrs. Gonzalez hugs her tight.
My brave girl.
What you did for that man was a true blessing.
Layla sniffle.
But he died, Mrs. Gonzalez.
The old woman coupe Layla es face.
Yes, Mija, but he left this world knowing kindness. That's your gift to him. As they talk, James's phone buzzes. Tom, a neighbor, invites him to a community meeting about the incident. James hesitates, torn between staying with Layla and addressing the neighborhood's concerns. Mrs. Gonzalez offers, let me stay with Layla. We'll bake cookies, it'll cheer her up.
James kneel beside Layla. Sweet pea, is it okay if he talk to the neighbor?
Mrs. Gonzalez will be here. Layla nods, a tiny smile at the thought of cookies. Can we make chocolate chip? Absolutely. James kisses her forehead, grateful for the support. At the community room, 15 neighbors gather, their faces a mix of worry and curiosity.
Tom wave James over. Glad you're here, James. We all shaken up.
Mrs. Peterson, an elderly neighbor, speaks up. How could the police think Layla had anything to do with that man's death? James clarifies, they don't. They just needed information since we saw Mr. Thompson last. He recounts the night and the police visit, and the room's tension eases, replaced by admiration.
Layla has got a hat of gold.
Mr. Ramirez says. Not many kids would do that. Sarah, a young mother, asks, what now? Does this change our community? Tom nods thoughtfully. Maybe it's a wake-up call to check on our elderly neighbors more. Who knows how long Mr. Thompson was lonely? Ideas flow, friendly visits, community dinners, and James feels a mix of grief and hope. How could one act spark such change? As the meeting ends, neighbors offer support.
Layla es a blessing to us all.
Mrs. Peterson says, patting James's arm. Back home, The sweet scent of cookies greets James. Layla and Mrs. Gonzalez are decorating at the kitchen table.
Daddy, look.
Layla holds up a smiley face cookie, her sadness eased.
James says that swells.
It's perfect, sweet pea. Mrs. Gonzalez shares a knowing look. Layla's okay. How was the meeting? She asks. James sighs, sinking into a chair. Good.
Everyone is so supportive.
They think Layla's a hero. Layla looks up, serious.
Daddy, is Monsieur Thompson happy in heaven? James struck her ear.
I'm sure he is, sweetie, smiling down at the birthday you gave him.
À evening falls, James reflect on the whirlwind.
Layla's kindness has stirred their community, a reminder that even in loss, love endures.
What will tomorrow bring?
For now, they hold tight to each other, warmed by a legacy of compassion that's just beginning to unfold. What could possibly bring two police officers to your doorstep on a quiet Saturday morning? Imagine the shock rippling through James Wilson's heart as he opens his apartment door to find Officer Johnson, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a stern face, and Officer Chun, a shorter woman whose kind eyes seem to hold a flicker of warmth despite her crisp uniform.
Good morning, sir.
Officer Johnson's deep, authoritative voice cuts through the cozy hum of pancakes sizzling in the kitchen. I'm Officer Johnson, and this is my partner, Officer Chun.
Are you James Wilson?
James nods, a knot of worry twisting in his stomach. Yes, that's me. Is everything okay?
What is going on?
Officer Chun steps forward, her tone gentle yet firm, like a soft breeze carrying weighty news. Mr. Wilson, we need to speak with your daughter, Layla. Is she home? The knot tightens, James's protective instincts flaring like a wildfire. What's this about? Layla's only 8 years old. Why would you need to talk to her? Officer Johnson's expression softens just a touch.
We understand your concern, Monsieur Wilson.
We're looking into something involving an elderly man your daughter met last night at a local restaurant. Just a few questions, that's all. James's mind races back to Mama Rosa's, to the warm glow of Mr. Thompson's birthday celebration, to Layla's radiant smile as she shared cake with him. What could have happened to warrant this? Why now?
Daddy, who is at the door?
Layla's small voice chirps from behind, her pigtails peeking around his leg, her big brown eyes widening at the sight of the officers' uniforms. James kneels, his hand gentle on her shoulder, his heart pounding. Sweet pea, these officers want to talk about Mr. Thompson, the nice man we met at dinner last night. Is that okay with you? Layla nods, her usual bubbly excitement replaced by a quiet mix of curiosity and unease. How could a night so full of joy lead to this moment? James forces a reassuring smile, guiding her inside.
Let's all sit in the living room, all right.
He leads the officers to the cozy space, where sunlight spills through the curtains, casting a warm glow over the worn but loved couch. James sits close to Layla, his arm around her tiny frame, while the officers settle into armchairs, their badges glinting in the morning light. Officer Chun leans forward, her voice soft and comforting, like a lullaby. Layla, we heard you did something so kind last night, keeping Mr. Thompson company on his birthday. Can you tell us about it? What happened? Layla glances at James, who gives her an encouraging nod, his heart swelling with pride despite the unease gnawing at him. She takes a deep breath, her voice small but clear. Well, we were at Mama Rosa's for dinner, like we always are on Fridays. I saw Mr. Thompson sitting all alone, and Mama Rosa brought him a cupcake, 'cause it was his birthday. He looked so sad, Daddy, so I asked if we could go say hi and make him smile. Officer Johnson scribbles in a small notepad, his pen moving swiftly, while James watches, his arm protectively draped around Layla's shoulders. Why are they taking notes? What aren't they saying? Officer Chun smiles warmly. That was so thoughtful, Layla. What did you and Mr. Thompson talk about? Did he say anything unusual or maybe something that upset him? Layla's brow furrows, her little face scrunching as she tries to recall. Not really. He told me stories about when he was young, like adventures and stuff, and about being a teacher. Oh, and he loved the chocolate cake Mama Rosa brought. He said it was just like his mom used to make, and that made him happy. Officer Johnson looks up, his gaze steady. Did Mr. Thompson mention any family or friends? Anyone he planned to see after dinner? Layla shakes her head, her pigtails swaying. No, He didn't talk about any family. He just said it was his best birthday in a long time, and he smiled a lot.
James unis dipens, a cold shiver running down his spine.
Why all these questions about Mr. Thompson's life? As the officers continue, James can't hold back any longer, his voice tight with worry. Officers, I appreciate you being thorough, but please, what's going on? Has something happened to Mr. Thompson? Is he all right? The officers exchange a heavy glance, and Officer Chun's voice drops, soft but laden with sorrow. Mr. Wilson, I'm so sorry to tell you, but Mr. Thompson was found unresponsive in his home late last night. Paramedics couldn't revive him. The words crash over James like a tidal wave, stealing his breath, his heart plummeting.
A heavy silence blanket the room, broken only by Leila's tiny gasp.
Her eyes well up with tears, shimmering like stars about to fall. You mean Mr. Thompson died? She whispers, her voice barely audible, trembling with disbelief. Officer Chun nods, her eyes brimming with empathy.
Yes, sweetheart.
I'm so sorry. Layla turns, burying her face in James's side, her small shoulders shaking with quiet sobs that pierce his heart. He holds her close, his own eyes stinging with unshed tears, his mind reeling. How could this be? I don't understand, James says, his voice hoarse, raw with emotion. He seemed fine last night. A bit lonely, sure, but not sick. How could he just be gone? Officer Johnson clears his throat, his tone measured. That's what we're trying to figure out, Mr. Wilson. Since you and Layla were likely the last people to see him, we needed to gather as much information as we could to understand what happened. Layla's sobs soften, and she looks up, her face streaked with tears, her voice quivering. Did we do something wrong, Daddy? Did we make him sick? James's heart shatters at her words, and Officer Chun leans forward, her voice urgent and kind.
Oh, no, sweetheart, you did nothing wrong.
Not at all. In fact, from what you've told us, you gave Mr. Thompson a wonderful, joyful last evening. You should be so proud of your kindness. James hugs Layla tighter, his chest swelling with pride for her tender heart, yet aching with the deep sorrow of Mr. Thompson's lonely life and sudden death. Is there anything else you need from us? He asks, desperate to shield Layla, to comfort her in private. Officer Johnson stands, tucking his notepad away. No, Mr. Wilson, you've both been incredibly helpful. We'll reach out if we need anything more. As James walks them to the door, Officer Chun pauses, her eyes warm with sincerity. Mr. Wilson, I know this is hard, heartbreaking really, but please hold on to this. Layla's kindness made a real difference in Mr. Thompson's final hours. That's a gift you both gave him, something truly special to cherish. With a final nod, the officers leave, their footsteps fading down the hall, leaving James and Layla to grapple with the shocking news. James returns to the couch, gathering Layla into his arms, her small frame trembling against him. Daddy, she sniffles, her voice muffled against his shirt. Why did Mr. Thompson have to die? He was so nice. Why did this happen? James strokes her hair gently, his voice soft, steady despite the ache in his chest. Sometimes, sweetie, it's just someone's time to go, and we don't always know why. But you know what? Because of you, Mr. Thompson's last birthday was filled with happiness. You made his final night so special, and that's a beautiful thing, Layla. She clings to him, her sobs easing, but the weight of loss lingers in the air. They sit together, the pancakes growing cold in the kitchen, forgotten amidst the whirlwind of emotions. James marvels at how swiftly life can change. One moment, they were laughing over chocolate cake with a kind stranger. Now they're mourning his loss.
How fragile life is.
The morning passes in a blur, a haze of quiet grief. James calls his sister, Angela, to share the news, his voice heavy. It's just so sudden, Angela.
Layla is heartbroken.
She offers to come over, her voice warm with concern. I can be there in an hour, James. But he declines, feeling he and Layla need this time alone. Thanks, but we need to process this together. I'll call if we need you. By early afternoon, the tight-knit neighborhood buzzes with whispers of the police visit, like a spark igniting a wildfire. James's phone pings relentlessly with texts and social media notifications, neighbors reaching out with questions and concern. As he prepares a simple lunch, sandwiches and juice, hoping to coax Layla to eat, a knock sounds at the door. It's Mrs. Gonzalez, their next-door neighbor, her round face etched with worry, her eyes brimming with empathy. "Oh, James!" she exclaims, her accented English thick with emotion. "I just heard what happened."
How are you and little Leila holding up? It's so shocking.
James manages a weak smile, touched by her care. "We're doing okay, Mrs. Gonzalez. It's been a tough morning, but we're managing somehow." She nods, her hands clasped tightly. The whole neighborhood's talking. Some folks are worried, you know how people get, but most of us, we think what Layla did was so beautiful. That child has a heart of gold. As if summoned by her name, Layla emerges from her room, clutching her favorite stuffed elephant, its worn fur a comfort against her puffy eyes. Mrs. Gonzalez sweeps her into a warm hug. "There's my brave girl," she coos, her voice like a soothing melody. "Layla, what you did for that poor man was a true mitzvah, a blessing from heaven." Layla looks up, her voice small, eyes still glistening. "Really? But Mrs. Gonzalez, he still died." The older woman cups Layla's face in her hands, her touch gentle, her words firm. "Yes, Mija, but he left this world knowing there was still kindness out there. That's a precious gift you gave him, one he'll carry forever." As they talk, James's phone buzzes again, a message from Tom, a neighbor down the hall. "Hey James, heard about the news. We're meeting in the community room to talk about it. Come if you can." James hesitates, torn between staying with Layla and addressing the neighborhood's concerns. Could this meeting help make sense of it all? Mrs. Gonzalez notices his distraction, her eyes sharp with understanding.
James, why don't you stay with Leila for a bit?
"We can bake some cookies, chocolate chip, her favorite. It might lift her spirits." James kneels beside Layla, his voice soft. "Sweet pea, is it okay if I go talk to the neighbors for a little while? Mrs. Gonzalez will be here, and you'll have fun baking, right?" Layla nods, a tiny smile breaking through her sadness at the thought of cookies.
Okay, Daddy. Can we make extra for you?
James kisses her forehead, his heart swelling with love.
You bet, my girl. I'll be back soon.
As James heads to the community room, the low murmur of voices reaches him before he even opens the door. Inside, about 15 neighbors are gathered, their faces a mix of concern, curiosity, and compassion. Tom, a middle-aged man with salt and pepper hair, waves him over.
James, glad you made it. We are all reeling from the news.
Mrs. Peterson, an elderly woman from the 5th floor, speaks up, her voice trembling. How could the police think a little girl like Layla had anything to do with that poor man's death? It's outrageous. James raises a hand, his voice calm but firm. They don't think that, Mrs. Peterson. They were just gathering information because we were probably the last to see Mr. Thompson alive. A hush falls as James recounts the magical evening at Mama Rosa's and the shocking police visit this morning. As he speaks, the room's tension melts away, replaced by expressions of sympathy and awe.
Your Leila has got a hat of gold.
Mr. Ramirez, the building superintendent, says with a nod, his voice thick with admiration. Not many kids would think to brighten an old man's birthday like that. She's a treasure. Others murmur in agreement, and James feels a swell of pride, though his heart still aches with confusion and grief. How could one act of kindness lead to such a profound loss? Sarah, a young mother from his floor, leans forward, her eyes earnest. But what happens now, James? Does this change things for our community? Should it? Tom nods, his expression thoughtful. Maybe it's a wake-up call. How many other lonely folks are out there, right here in our building, waiting for someone to notice them? Layla showed us what's possible. The room buzzes with ideas, friendly visits, potluck dinners, a book club for seniors, and James feels a spark of hope amidst the sorrow. Could Layla's kindness inspire a new way of living, even in the face of tragedy? As the meeting winds down, neighbors approach James, their words warm with support.
Leila is a blessing to us all.
Mrs. Peterson says, patting his arm, her eyes misty. You've raised a remarkable girl. James nods, overwhelmed, his emotions a tangle of pride, sadness, and gratitude. How did they get here, from a simple birthday to this moment of community awakening? He heads back to the apartment, the sweet scent of chocolate chip cookies greeting him like a warm embrace. Layla and Mrs. Gonzalez are at the kitchen table, decorating cookies with colorful icing, Layla's face brighter, a smudge of frosting on her cheek.
Daddy, look.
Layla exclaims, holding up a smiley face cookie, her earlier grief softened by the joy of creation.
This one is for you.
James's heart swells, his voice catching. It's perfect, sweet pea. You're amazing. Mrs. Gonzalez shares a knowing glance. Layla's holding up okay. How was the meeting? She asks, wiping flour from her hands. James sinks into a chair, the weight of the day settling over him. It was good, really good. Everyone's so supportive, they think Layla's a hero for what she did. Layla looks up, her expression serious. Daddy, is Mr. Thompson happy now, in heaven? Do you think he's smiling? James reaches out, stroking her hair, his voice gentle. I'm sure he is, sweetie. He's probably looking down right now, so happy about the birthday you gave him. You made his last day full of love. As evening falls, James reflects on the whirlwind of emotions. Layla's simple act of kindness has stirred their community, sparking a ripple of connection that promises to grow.
What will tomorrow bring?
For now, they hold tight to each other, warmed by a legacy of compassion that's just beginning to unfold, a testament to the power of a little girl's heart to change the world, one birthday at a time. Can a single spark of kindness ignite a flame that burns forever in the hearts of a community? Imagine James Wilson, his heart a tangled mix of grief for Mr. Thompson, pride for his daughter Layla, and a newfound sense of belonging in a neighborhood that wraps its arms around them like a warm embrace. As the impromptu meeting in the community room winds down, James rises, his emotions a whirlwind, drained yet strangely uplifted, like a weary traveler finding light at the end of a long road. Neighbors swarm him, their voices brimming with warmth.
James, you veux resed a wonderful doctor.
Mrs. Peterson exclaims, her frail hand patting his arm, her eyes twinkling with admiration. Layla's a shining star, a credit to you and our whole community. How does she have such a big heart at just 8 years old? James nods, his throat tight with gratitude, thanking each neighbor for their kind words, their support a balm to his aching soul. As he steps into the hallway, the sweet, comforting scent of freshly baked cookies wafts toward him, pulling him back to his apartment like a beacon of home. Inside, he finds Layla and Mrs. Gonzalez at the kitchen table, surrounded by colorful icing and laughter. Daddy! Layla cries, her earlier sadness swept away in a burst of joy, her pigtails bouncing as she holds up a slightly misshapen cookie, its smiley face a wobbly masterpiece of love. Look at the cookies we made.
This one is for you.
Isn't it cute? James's heart swells, nearly bursting with love for his resilient little girl, her spirit a lighthouse in the storm of their grief. It's beautiful, sweet pea, he says, his voice catching as he accepts the cookie, its warm sweetness a reminder of her strength.
Thank you, my darling.
He takes a bite, the chocolate chips melting on his tongue, and catches Mrs. Gonzalez's eye. Her knowing look speaks volumes. Layla's okay, holding on despite the pain. How was the meeting, James? Mrs. Gonzalez asks, wiping flour from her hands, her voice warm as she tidies the baking mess. James sinks into a chair, the weight of the day pressing down like a heavy blanket. It was good, really good. Everyone's so supportive, they think Layla's a hero for what she did for Mr. Thompson.
Can you believe that?
Layla looks up from her cookie decorating, her expression suddenly serious, her big brown eyes searching his.
Daddy, do you think Monsieur Thompson is happy now in heaven?
Is he smiling up there? James reaches out, stroking her soft hair, marveling at her ability to ask such profound questions, her young heart grappling with life's deepest mysteries. I'm sure he is, sweetie. I bet he's looking down right now, his heart full, thinking about the amazing birthday you gave him. You made him so happy, Layla. As the afternoon fades into a golden evening, James sits back, his mind swirling with the whirlwind of events. How could a simple act of kindness, a little girl sharing cake with a lonely stranger, turn into a moment that's shaking their entire community awake? He thinks of Mr. Thompson, a man they knew for just one evening, yet whose quiet presence left an indelible mark, like a gentle ripple spreading across a still pond. Later that night, as he tucks Layla into bed, her small voice pierces the quiet.
Daddy, can we do something to remember Monsieur Thompson?
I don't want to forget him. James smiles, his heart warming as an idea blooms. That's a beautiful thought, Layla. How about tomorrow we go to the park and plant a flower in his memory? We can watch it grow, just like your kindness, and remember how one little act can make such a big difference.
What do you think?
Layla nods, her eyelids drooping, her voice sleepy but content.
I like that, Daddy.
And maybe we can bring cookies for the ducks too? They'd love that. James kisses her forehead, his heart full. You bet, sweet pea. Good night. As he steps back, watching her drift into dreams, James feels a renewed sense of purpose, like a fire kindled in his soul. Tomorrow will bring challenges, but also chances to spread the kindness Layla so naturally embodies. In the face of loss and confusion, their community has woven itself tighter, a tapestry of care reminding him that even in the darkest moments, there's always a glimmer of light to chase away the shadows. How incredible is that? The days after Mr. Thompson's passing blur into a haze of emotions for James and Layla, a roller coaster of shock giving way to a quiet, aching sadness. Yet, woven through the grief are moments of reflection, like soft sunlight breaking through clouds, as they cherish the brief but powerful connection they shared with the elderly man. Life marches on, its steady rhythm unbroken, school days, errands, quiet evenings, but there's a subtle shift in the air, an undercurrent of change, as if their community is holding its breath, waiting for something extraordinary to unfold.
Can you feel it?
It's a crisp Wednesday afternoon when that something arrives, like a gentle breeze carrying unexpected news. James has just picked Layla up from school, their hands clasped as they stroll home, her backpack bouncing with each step, her voice bubbling with excitement. Daddy, in class today, we made memory boxes.
Mines got flowers and butterfly all over it. I'm gonna pumisis. Gonzalez's cookie recipe it, tout remember when we backed together after, you know.
James smiles, touched by her thoughtfulness, his heart aching at the memory of that day. That's a lovely idea, sweet pea. Keeping those happy moments close is so important, even when they come from sad times, isn't it? As they near their apartment building, James's heart skips a beat. Two familiar figures stand by the entrance, their uniforms unmistakable. Officers Johnson and Chun, the same police who visited days ago, are back. Why are they here again? Layla spots them too, her grip tightening, her voice a worried whisper. Daddy, why are the police here? Did we do something bad? James squeezes her hand, his voice steady despite the flutter in his chest.
No, honey, don't worry.
I'm sure it's okay. Let's find out what they want, all right? His mind races. What could this mean? As they approach, Officer Chun waves, her warm smile easing the tension coiling in James's chest.
Good afternoon, Monsieur Wilson, Layla. She greet, her voice quaint, like a friend dropping by.
We hope we're not interrupting, but we've got some news about Mr. Thompson we thought you'd want to hear. Is now a good time to talk?
James no, curiosity sparking.
Of course. Want to come up to our apartment? That'd be perfect, thank you, Officer Johnson replies, his deep voice softer now, less stern. They climb the stairs in silence, the air thick with anticipation, like the moment before a gift is unwrapped. Inside, James gestures to the kitchen table, ever the gracious host despite his nerves. Can I get you anything to drink?
Coffee, water.
Both officers decline, and Officer Chun leans forward, her expression serious yet kind, her eyes locking with theirs. Mr. Wilson, Layla, we've learned something new about Mr. Thompson that we felt you should know. It's quite remarkable. Layla's eyes widen, and she scoots closer to James, who wraps an arm around her, bracing for whatever comes next. What could this be? Officer Johnson clears his throat, his voice steady. Mr. Thompson was an extraordinary man. He was a well-known philanthropist, donating millions to charities over the years, especially for children's education and welfare. James's jaw drops, stunned.
The qui lonely man at Mama Rosa S, a millionaire philanthropiste?
How could that be? But if he was so rich and famous, why was he all alone? Layla asks, her voice small, echoing James's thoughts. Officer Chun's face softens, her eyes glistening. That's a great question, Layla. You see, Mr. Thompson had a family once, a wife, a daughter, and a granddaughter. But 10 years ago, they were all lost in a terrible car accident. He was the only survivor. A heavy silence falls, the weight of that tragedy sinking into the room like a stone. James feels a lump in his throat, imagining the unbearable pain Mr. Thompson carried. How did he go on? Officer Johnson continues, his voice gentle. After that, Mr. Thompson stepped away from public life. He moved here, to this neighborhood, to live quietly, out of the spotlight. He kept up his charity work, but anonymously. He struggled with deep loneliness and depression in recent years. Layla's lip quivers, her voice barely a whisper. That's so sad. No wonder he looked so lonely at the restaurant. Officer Chun nods, leaning closer, her voice warm and earnest. But that's where you come in, Layla. We talked to his housekeeper, who saw him the morning after your dinner. She said she hadn't seen him that happy in years. He couldn't stop talking about the sweet little girl who made his birthday so special.
Layla's eyes widen, sparkling with surprise.
Really? I made him that happy? Me? You absolutely did. Officer Johnson confirms, a rare smile breaking through his stern facade. She told us Mr. Thompson said you reminded him of his granddaughter. Your kindness brought back joyful memories for him. James feels a swell of pride, tinged with bittersweet sadness. How could Layla's small act mean so much? So what happened to him that night? He asks, his voice thick. The officers glance at each other, and Officer Chun speaks, her tone soft. The medical examiner said Mr. Thompson passed away peacefully in his sleep. No pain, no struggle, he just didn't wake up. The housekeeper found him the next morning. Officer Johnson adds, she said he had a smile on his face, and a framed photo of his family was on his nightstand, something she'd never seen before. Layla, your kindness gave him peace in his final hours. Isn't that incredible? Tears well in Layla's eyes, but they're not just sad, there's a glimmer of understanding, a sense of completion that softens her grief. James pulls her close, his own eyes misty, his heart aching yet full. We wanted to thank you both, Officer Chun says, her voice brimming with sincerity. Your simple act of kindness made a world of difference to a man who'd known so much sorrow. It's a reminder to us all about the power of compassion. As the officers prepare to leave, Layla jumps up. Wait.
I've got something for you.
She darts to her room, returning with 2 chocolate chip cookies from her baking with Mrs. Gonzalez. These are for you, to say thank you for helping Mr. Thompson. The officers accept the cookies, their smiles touched, their gratitude clear. Thank you, Layla, they chorus, and James walks them out, Officer Johnson pausing at the door.
You've raised un extraordinary docteur, Monsieur Wilson.
The world needs more Laylas. After they leave, James and Layla curl up on the couch, processing the flood of revelations. Layla nestles against his side, her voice small but steady. Daddy, do you think Mr. Thompson's with his family now? Is he happy? James strokes her hair, his voice warm, full of love. I'd like to think so, sweet pea. I bet he's up there, telling them all about the wonderful little girl who made his last birthday so special. You gave him so much joy, Layla. As they sit together, the apartment quiet but filled with love, James marvels at the profound impact of Layla's kindness, a single evening that's reshaping their world. What a gift she's given, not just to Mr. Thompson, but to everyone around her. The legacy of that night at Mama Rosa's lingers, a beacon of hope promising to grow, a testament to the power of a little girl's heart to light up even the darkest corners. Can a single moment of kindness ripple through time, changing lives in ways you'd never dream possible? Picture James Wilson, his heart still reeling from the whirlwind of emotions, grief for Mr. Thompson's passing, pride for his daughter Layla's boundless compassion, and a warm sense of belonging in a community that's rallied around them like a family. As the community meeting wraps up, James stands, his soul both heavy with loss and lifted by hope, like a ship weathering a storm yet glimpsing a lighthouse. Neighbors surround him, their voices a chorus of support.
James, you've raised un incroyable docteur.
Mrs. Peterson exclaims, her frail hand patting his arm, her eyes sparkling with tears.
Layla est a blessing to us all.
How does an 8-year-old have such a heart of gold? James nods, his throat tight with gratitude, murmuring thanks as he weaves through the crowd, their words wrapping him in warmth. As he nears his apartment, the sweet, comforting scent of freshly baked cookies drifts into the hallway, like a hug from home itself. Inside, Layla and Mrs. Gonzalez are at the kitchen table, surrounded by colorful icing and giggles. Daddy! Layla cries, her earlier sorrow swept away in a burst of joy, her pigtails bouncing as she holds up a wobbly smiley face cookie, a masterpiece of love. Look at our cookies.
This one is for you. Isn't it the best?
James's heart swells, nearly bursting with love for his resilient little girl, her spirit shining like a star in the darkest night. "It's perfect, sweet pea," he says, his voice cracking as he takes the cookie, its warmth a reminder of her strength.
"You're amazing, Leila."
He bites into the sweet treat, chocolate chips melting on his tongue, and catches Mrs. Gonzalez's eye. Her knowing glance speaks volumes. Leila's holding strong, her heart healing through creation. "How was the meeting, James?" Mrs. Gonzalez asks, wiping flour from her hands, her voice as warm as the oven. James sinks into a chair, the day's weight settling like a heavy coat. "It was amazing, really. Everyone's so supportive. They think Leila's a hero for what she did for Mr.
Thompson. Can you believe it?
Leila looks up, her icing-smeared fingers pausing, her expression suddenly serious.
Daddy, is Monsieur Thompson happy in heaven?
Does he know we miss him? James reaches out, stroking her soft hair, marveling at her profound questions, her young soul wrestling with life's mysteries. "Oh, sweetie, I'm sure he's happy. He's probably smiling down right now, his heart full, thinking about the incredible birthday you gave him. You made his last day so special, Leila." As the afternoon fades into a golden evening, James leans back, his mind swirling with the day's events. How could one small act, a little girl sharing a birthday cake, spark a movement that's awakening their entire community? He thinks of Mr. Thompson, a man they knew for just one night, yet whose quiet presence left a mark as deep as a river carving through stone. Later, as he tucks Leila into bed, her small voice pierces the quiet, soft but earnest.
Daddy, can we do something to remember Monsieur Thompson?
I don't want him to fade away. James smiles, his heart warming as an idea takes root.
What a beautiful idea, Leila.
How about tomorrow we go to the park and plant a flower in his memory? We can watch it bloom, just like your kindness, and always remember how one little act can change everything.
Sound good.
Leila nods, her eyelids heavy, her voice sleepy but content. I love that, Daddy. And can we bring cookies for the ducks? They'd be so happy. James kisses her forehead, his heart full. You bet, sweet pea.
Good night, my love.
As he steps back, watching her drift into dreams, James feels a fire kindled in his soul, a renewed purpose. Tomorrow will bring challenges, but also opportunities to spread the compassion Leila embodies so effortlessly. In the face of loss, their community has woven itself tighter, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there's light to be found. How incredible is that? The days after Mr. Thompson's passing blur into a tapestry of emotions for James and Leila, the shock softening into a quiet sadness, yet threaded with moments of reflection, like stars shining through a cloudy night. They cherish the brief, powerful connection with Mr. Thompson, and life rolls on, school, errands, quiet evenings, but there's a shift in the air, a sense that something extraordinary is brewing.
Can you feel the anticipation?
It's a crisp Wednesday afternoon when that something arrives, like a gift wrapped in mystery. James has just picked Leila up from school, their hands clasped as they stroll home, her backpack bouncing, her voice bubbling with excitement. Daddy, we made memory boxes in class today. Mine's covered in flowers and butterflies. I'm gonna put Mrs. Gonzalez's cookie recipe in it, to remember that day we baked after, you know. James smiles, his heart aching yet warmed by her thoughtfulness. That's so special, sweet pea. Holding on to those happy memories, even from sad times, is like keeping a piece of love close, isn't it? As they near their apartment building, James's heart skips. Officers Johnson and Chun stand by the entrance, their uniforms unmistakable. Why are they back? Leila's grip tightens, her voice a worried whisper. Daddy, why are the police here again? Are we in trouble? James squeezes her hand, his voice calm despite his racing pulse.
No, honey, don't worry.
It's probably nothing big. Let's see what they need, okay? His mind races. What could this mean? As they approach, Officer Chun waves, her smile warm and reassuring.
Good afternoon, Monsieur Wilson, Leila. She greet, her voice like a friend's.
We've got some news about Mr. Thompson we thought you'd want to hear. Is now a good time to talk?
James no, curiosity sparking.
Absolutely. Want to come up to our apartment? That'd be great, thank you, Officer Johnson replies, his tone softer now. They climb the stairs in silence, the air buzzing with anticipation, like the moment before a story unfolds. Inside, James gestures to the kitchen table, ever the gracious host despite his nerves. Coffee? Water? Anything. Both officers decline, and Officer Chun leans forward, her eyes kind but serious. Mr. Wilson, Layla, we've uncovered something remarkable about Mr. Thompson that we wanted to share. It's truly special. Layla's eyes widen, and she scoots closer to James, who wraps an arm around her, bracing for the news.
What could it be?
Officer Johnson clears his throat. Mr. Thompson was an incredible man. A philanthropist who donated millions to charities, especially for kids' education and welfare. James's jaw drops, stunned.
The Kieman at Mama Rosa S, a millionnaire?
But if he was so rich and famous, why was he alone? Layla asks, her voice small, echoing James's shock. Officer Chun's face softens, her eyes glistening.
Great question, Layla.
He had a family once, a wife, daughter, and granddaughter, but 10 years ago, they died in a car accident. He was the only survivor.
A heavy silence false, the trash dies wekt sinking in like a cold wave.
James feels a lump in his throat, imagining Mr. Thompson's pain. How did he carry that? Officer Johnson continues, his voice gentle. He withdrew from public life, moved here to live quietly, and kept his charity work secret. He struggled with loneliness and depression. Layla's lip quivers. That's so sad. That's why he looked so lonely at the restaurant. Officer Chun nods, leaning closer. But Layla, you changed that. His housekeeper saw him the morning after your dinner and said he was happier than she'd seen in years. He kept talking about the sweet girl who made his birthday special.
Layla's eyes sparkle with surprise.
Really? I made him that happy. You sure did. Officer Johnson smiles. She said you reminded him of his granddaughter, bringing back joyful memories.
James's pride swells, bittersweet with sadness.
How could one act mean so much? What happened to him that night? He asks, his voice thick. Officer Chun's tone softens. He passed peacefully in his sleep, no pain, no struggle. The housekeeper found him with a smile, a family photo by his bed, something new. Layla, your kindness gave him peace. Isn't that amazing? Tears well in Layla's eyes, a mix of sorrow and fulfillment, her heart grasping the impact of her deed. James pulls her close, his eyes misty. We wanted to thank you. Officer Chun says, her voice sincere.
Your kind transformed a manhood ek known great sorrow.
It's a lesson in compassion for us all. As they prepare to leave, Layla jumps up. Wait.
I've got something.
She runs to her room, returning with 2 cookies. These are for you, for helping Mr. Thompson. The officers accept them, their smiles warm. Thank you, Layla, they say, and James walks them out, Officer Johnson pausing.
You've raised an extraordinary girl, Monsieur Wilson.
The world needs more like her. Back on the couch, Layla curls against James, her voice steady but small. Daddy, is Mr. Thompson with his family now? Is he happy? James strokes her hair, his voice warm. I believe so, sweet pea. He's probably telling them about the amazing girl who made his last birthday so special. You gave him so much joy. As they sit, the apartment quiet but brimming with love, James marvels at Layla's impact. A single night that's reshaping their community, a spark of kindness that's growing into a flame of hope. What a legacy! Can a single act of kindness bloom into a legacy that shapes a lifetime? Imagine James Wilson, his heart soaring with the chance to surprise his daughter Layla with life-changing news, his steps light as he walks to her school, the familiar streets of their cozy neighborhood bathed in golden sunlight. When the final bell rings, Layla bursts from the building, her pigtails bouncing, her face lighting up like a firework at the sight of her father. Daddy, what are you doing here? She squeals, her voice a melody of joy. James scoops her into a bear hug, his heart racing with excitement. I thought we'd walk home together today, sweet pea, and I've got some big news to share.
Ready for a surprise.
As they stroll through the neighborhood, leaves crunching underfoot, James explains his decision to take a sabbatical, his voice brimming with possibility. I'm taking time off work, Layla. We'll have more time for adventures. Layla listens, her eyes wide, her mind already spinning with ideas, like a kaleidoscope of dreams. Daddy, she says, her voice suddenly serious, I've been thinking about Mr. Thompson and how he helped people. Could we do something like that?
Something big.
James smiles down at her, his pride swelling like a river after rain.
What is on your mind, sweet PEA? Tell me everything.
Layla's words tumble out in a rush, her excitement infectious. Well, Mr. Thompson loved helping kids, right? Maybe we could start a program at my school to give food to kids who don't have enough. And school supplies too. Oh, and Daddy, we could visit lonely old people like Mr. Thompson, so they don't feel sad. Wouldn't that be amazing? James's heart nearly bursts. How does his 8-year-old have such a boundless heart? Those are incredible ideas, Layla. Let's sit down tonight and make a plan. We'll use some of Mr. Thompson's gift to make these dreams come true. Sound good? Over the next few months, James and Layla dive into their community projects with a passion that lights up their neighborhood. They team up with Layla's school to launch a weekend backpack program, filling bags with food for kids who might go hungry. Can you imagine the relief on those families' faces? They organize a school supply drive, ensuring every child in Layla's class has pencils, notebooks, and dreams within reach. But it's their friendly visitors program that truly takes flight, inspired by Mrs. Peterson's earlier efforts. Working with local senior centers, they match volunteers with elderly residents craving companionship, and Layla herself becomes a regular visitor, her infectious smile and curious questions brightening the days of seniors like stars in a twilight sky. One crisp autumn afternoon, as James and Layla walk home from visiting Mrs. Henderson, one of their cherished senior friends, Layla grows quiet, her hand warm in his. The leaves swirl around them, painting the sidewalk in reds and golds.
What is on your mind, sweet PEA?
James asks, giving her hand a gentle squeeze, his voice soft with love. Layla looks up, her eyes wise beyond her years, shimmering with thought. Daddy, I've been thinking about Mr. Thompson and all the people we've met. Isn't it funny how just being kind to someone can change so much?
Like everything.
James nods, his heart swelling, urging her to continue.
Go on, tell me more.
It's like that night I sat with Mr. Thompson, she says, her voice soft but certain. I didn't think I was doing anything special. I just wanted him to be happy on his birthday. But look at all this, everything that happened because of that one little thing. It's like magic, isn't it? James feels a lump in his throat, his eyes stinging with pride. You're so right, Layla. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness have the biggest impact. Mr. Thompson taught us that, didn't he? Layla nods solemnly, her pigtails swaying. And now, when we visit Mrs. Henderson or help at school, it's like we're passing on Mr. Thompson's kindness. It keeps growing and growing, like a big, beautiful tree. Their conversation is interrupted by a cheerful call from behind.
Layla, Monsieur Wilson.
They turn to see Officer Chun jogging toward them, her warm smile lighting up the chilly afternoon. Hello, Officer Chun.
Layla greet, her voice bright.
We just visited Mrs. Henderson. She told me all about being a nurse during the war. Can you believe how brave she was? Officer Chun's eyes crinkle with amusement. That sounds incredible, Layla. You know, I've been hearing so much about your friendly visitors program. The police station's getting calls from folks wanting to join in. How amazing is that? James raises an eyebrow, surprised. Really? I thought it was just our little neighborhood. Officer Chun nods, her enthusiasm contagious. Oh no, it's spreading far and wide. In fact, our chief was wondering if you'd speak at our community outreach event next month, share your story, inspire others to get involved.
What do you think?
Would you be up for it? Layla's eyes shine with excitement, and she looks at James, her face glowing. James feels a wave of pride and humility wash over him. How did they get here? We'd be honored, Officer Chun.
Right, Layla.
Layla nods vigorously, her voice bubbling. Can I tell them about Mr. Thompson? His story's so important. Of course, sweetie. Officer Chun replies, her smile warm. That's exactly the kind of story people need to hear. It's powerful. As Officer Chun waves goodbye and continues her patrol, James and Layla resume their walk home, both lost in thought about the unexpected turns their lives have taken. How could one birthday dinner lead to all this? That evening, as James tucks Layla into bed, her cozy room glowing with the soft light of her nightlight, she asks a question that catches him off guard. Daddy, Do you think Mr. Thompson would be proud of us? Would he like what we're doing? James sits on the edge of her bed, stroking her hair gently, his heart full. Oh, sweet pea, I think he'd be so proud. More than that, I think he'd be overjoyed, knowing his kindness is still making a difference through you. You're keeping his light shining, Layla. She smiles sleepily, her voice fading. I'm glad. I want to keep making him happy, even though he's gone. As James turns off the light and closes her door, a sense of peace washes over him, like a warm blanket on a cold night. The future stretches out, brimming with possibilities to make a difference. And though the path may have twists, with Layla by his side, spreading compassion like wildflowers, it will always be meaningful. He walks to the living room window, gazing at the city lights twinkling like stars. Out there, he thinks, are people whose lives will be touched by Layla's kindness, just as theirs were transformed by Mr. Thompson's. What a beautiful thought, a reminder of how connected we all are, how one act of love can ripple through the world. His gaze falls on a framed photo on the bookshelf, Layla and Mr. Thompson at Mama Rose's, their smiles radiant, a moment frozen in time. Beside it sits a small potted plant, a cutting from the oak sapling they planted in the park, Layla's insistence on nurturing it a symbol of her enduring care. James touches the leaves gently, marveling at how much growth springs from such a tiny beginning. It's a perfect metaphor for their journey since meeting Mr. Thompson, isn't it? As he prepares for bed, James feels deep gratitude for the unexpected turns their life has taken. What started as a simple act of kindness has blossomed into a new way of living, a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new chances to spread kindness, but tonight in the quiet, James is content, knowing they're on a path lit by Mr. Thompson's gift, not just financial security, but a lesson in compassion's transformative power. How lucky they are. The years fly by, a whirlwind of growth, change, and countless acts of kindness. Layla, once a wide-eyed 8-year-old, is now a vibrant teenager teetering on the edge of high school, her spirit as bright as ever. The oak sapling they planted for Mr. Thompson has grown into a sturdy tree, its branches reaching skyward, a living tribute to his memory. On a warm Saturday morning in late August, James stands in Layla's doorway, watching her pack the last of her belongings into a suitcase, his heart a mix of pride and bittersweet ache. Her room, once filled with colorful drawings and pop star posters, now boasts college pennants and framed community service awards. Got everything, sweet pea? He asks, his voice catching on the nickname, heavy with love. Layla looks up, her smile a blend of excitement and nerves. I think so, Dad. If I forget anything, we can send it later, right? James nods, stepping in to help zip the overstuffed suitcase. Sure thing, though I'm not sure your dorm room can handle more. His eyes catch the small potted plant on her desk, a cutting from their oak tree, a tradition Layla's kept each year, nurturing it alongside her studies and service. Don't forget your tree, he says softly. Layla's face softens, lifting the pot. Never. It's coming to college with me, always. As they load the car, neighbors emerge, drawn by the news of Layla's departure. Mrs. Gonzalez, now with a cane but as spirited as ever, hobbles over, her eyes misty, holding a package. Layla, Mija, she calls. Cookies for your trip, and extra for your new friends. Layla hugs her tightly. Thank you, Mrs. Gonzalez. I'll miss you so much. Mr. Ramirez hands her a toolkit for dorm emergencies, and Officer Chun, now a family friend, stops by in her patrol car, offering a hug.
Stay safe, Layla.
The farewell grows, and James is overwhelmed by the love for his daughter. How did they go from strangers to this extended family? With the car packed and goodbyes said, James and Layla set off for her college, a 3-hour drive filled with bittersweet anticipation. As they pull away, Layla waves at their neighbors until they fade from view, her heart full.
What lies ahead?
A new chapter, lit by the same kindness that started it all. Can a single act of kindness spark a legacy that lights up the world for years to come? Picture James Wilson and his daughter Layla, cruising along a sun-dappled highway, the first hour of their 3-hour drive to her new college wrapped in a comfortable silence, both lost in a sea of thoughts. James steals glances at Layla, his heart swelling with awe at the poised young woman she's become, her long curls tied back in a neat ponytail, her expressive eyes, still as vibrant as when she was 8, gazing at the passing landscape, fields and trees blurring by like a painting of their past. Penny for your thoughts, sweet pea. James finally says, breaking the quiet, his voice warm with curiosity. Layla turns to him, a small smile playing on her lips, her eyes soft with reflection. I was just thinking about Mr. Thompson, Daddy. Do you think he'd be proud of me, heading off to college to study education and social work? Would he smile knowing what I'm doing? James feels a lump rise in his throat, his heart aching with the profound weight of Mr. Thompson's influence, still alive in their lives after all these years. Oh, Layla, I know he'd be bursting with pride, he says, his voice thick with emotion. You've taken the lesson he taught us about kindness and made it your life's mission. I can't imagine anything that'd make him prouder. Layla nods, her eyes misting, a flicker of doubt crossing her face.
I hope so, Daddy.
But sometimes I worry I'm not doing enough. There's so much need out there, how can I ever keep up? Her voice trembles, carrying the weight of a heart that feels the world's pain. James reaches over, squeezing her hand, his grip steady and full of love.
Layla, listen to me.
The kindness club you started at school? It's spread to dozens of schools across the state. The weekend backpack program you helped grow? It's feeding hundreds of kids who'd otherwise go hungry. And don't forget the seniors whose lives you've lit up with your friendly visitors program. Sweet pea, you've done more good in your 18 years than most folks do in a lifetime. How incredible is that? Layla blushes, a hint of her old shyness creeping in, her voice soft. I guess, but it never feels like enough, you know? There's always more to do. James nods, his heart aching with understanding. He knows that weight of responsibility she carries, her drive to make the world better. That's true, my girl, but every act of kindness, no matter how small, can change the world.
Layla récitait the familiar mantra, her smile widening, a spark of joy in her eyes.
Exactly. James affirms, his voice firm. You're off to college to learn how to make an even bigger impact, but never underestimate those little acts of kindness you do every day. They're like seeds that grow into mighty trees. As they drive on, the conversation flows freely, like a river finding its course. Layla shares her hopes, dreams of teaching, of helping communities, and her fears about college life, while James offers wisdom, marveling at how fast the years have flown.
Can you believe she's all grown up?
Finally, they roll onto the bustling college campus, a hive of activity with cars and minivans parked everywhere, parents and students hauling boxes and suitcases, the air buzzing with nervous excitement. James pulls into a parking spot, watching Layla take a deep breath, squaring her shoulders like a warrior ready for battle. Ready, sweet pea? He asks gently, his voice soft with love. Layla nods, her chin lifted, determination shining in her eyes.
Ready, Daddy.
As they start unloading the car, James notices a young woman nearby struggling with a massive box, her arms trembling under its weight. Before he can offer help, Layla's already on the move, her kindness as natural as breathing. Hey there, she calls cheerfully, her voice bright. That box looks heavy.
Want a hand?
The girl looks up, relief washing over her face. Oh, thank you. That'd be amazing. James watches, his heart swelling, as Layla lifts one end of the box, chatting animatedly with the girl as they head toward the dorm, their laughter floating back like music. In that moment, he sees not just his daughter, but Mr. Thompson's legacy, kindness alive and thriving through her every action. How powerful is that? The day races by in a blur of introductions, orientation meetings, and dorm room setup, posters taped to walls, books stacked on shelves, the small oak sapling cutting from their park tree finding a proud place on Layla's desk. By late afternoon, her room is as cozy as it can be, her new roommate has arrived, and the moment James dreads arrives, it's time to say goodbye. Standing in the parking lot by his car, James is at a loss for words, his heart a storm of pride, love, and the bittersweet ache of letting go. How can he express it all? Layla, sensing his struggle, throws her arms around him in a fierce hug, her warmth grounding him. I'm gonna miss you so much, Dad, she whispers, her voice thick with tears, cracking his heart open. James hugs her back, holding her tight, as if he could freeze this moment forever. I'll miss you too, sweet pea, but I'm so proud of you.
You're gonna do incredible things here, I just know it.
His voice trembles, eyes stinging with unshed tears. As they pull apart, Layla wipes her eyes, her smile watery but brave.
I promise I'll call all the time, Daddy.
I'll keep you posted on my classes, my projects, everything. James nods, fighting his own tears, his voice steady for her sake.
I know you will, my girl.
And don't forget, you can always come home if you need to.
Your room is waiting, just like my yacht.
With one final lingering hug, Layla turns, her ponytail swaying, and walks toward her dorm, her steps sure despite the quiver in her shoulders. James watches, his heart swelling with pride yet heavy with melancholy, as she reaches the entrance, turning back to wave one last time, her smile a beacon before she disappears inside. How can she be so grown, yet still his little girl? The drive home stretches endlessly, the silence deafening without Layla's laughter, her chatter, her presence. As James pulls into their familiar neighborhood, the streets feel different, unchanged yet dimmer, like a world missing its brightest star. Parking the car, he notices a small group by the apartment building's entrance. Mrs. Gonzalez, Mr. Ramirez, and other neighbors, their faces expectant, their eyes warm with care.
James, how did it go?
Mrs. Gonzalez calls, her voice full of love, her cane tapping as she steps forward. Is our Layla all settled in?
Tell us everything.
James nods, touched by their concern, his voice soft. She's moved in, all set. Her roommate's nice, and she's already making friends. The group leans in, listening as he recounts the day, the bustle, Layla's kindness, the tearful goodbye, their expressions a mix of pride and wistfulness, Layla's absence felt by all who've been touched by her light. How deeply she's woven into their community. As the gathering disperses, James's feet carry him to the park, drawn to the oak tree they planted for Mr. Thompson, now tall and strong, its leaves rustling in the evening breeze like a whisper of memory. He sits on a nearby bench, his eyes fixed on the tree, its sturdy branches a testament to their journey. Well, Mr. Thompson, he says softly, his voice low, almost reverent, Layla's off to college. She's studying education and social work, you know, determined to make a career of helping others, spreading kindness, just like you taught us. He pauses, feeling a touch foolish talking to a tree, yet comforted, as if Mr. Thompson's spirit lingers in the rustling leaves. I wish you could see her now. She's grown into such an amazing woman, and it's all because of you, really. That one act of kindness you shared, it changed everything. Lost in thought, James barely notices Officer Chun approaching until she sits beside him, her presence familiar, her voice gentle. Thought I'd find you here, she says, her smile kind.
Rook day, James.
He sighs, running a hand through his hair, his voice heavy. Not rough, just emotional. Layla's been my world for so long, how do I imagine life without her around every day? Officer Chun nods, her eyes understanding. It's a huge change, no doubt. But James, you should be so proud, not just of Layla, but of yourself. You've raised a remarkable young woman. How incredible is that? I had help, James says, gesturing to the oak tree, his voice soft. Mr. Thompson's legacy, it shaped us both in ways I'm still discovering. They sit in companionable silence, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, a canvas of hope. Officer Chun breaks the quiet, her voice thoughtful. You know, James, Layla's programs, the friendly visitors, the weekend backpacks, the kindness clubs, they'll need someone to keep them going now that she's at college. Have you thought about that? James turns, eyebrows raised, curiosity piqued. What are you suggesting? Officer Chun smiles, her eyes bright. You've got all this free time now, and you've been right there with Layla, learning, growing. Why not take over? Keep Mr. Thompson's legacy alive right here in our community. What do you say? James blinks, surprised, but a spark ignites within him. The fulfillment he's found working with Layla, the joy of seeing lives changed. Could he carry that torch? You know what? He says, a slow smile spreading. I think I'd love that. I really do. As they stand, James casts one last look at the oak tree, its silhouette strong against the twilight. He can almost imagine Mr. Thompson nodding, approving this new chapter. Walking back to the apartment, James feels a surge of energy, purpose rekindled. Layla's off on her journey, but their work together doesn't end. It grows, a living legacy of kindness that started with one birthday cake and now touches countless hearts. How beautiful is that? Can a single spark of kindness ignite a fire that burns bright for generations? Picture James Wilson sitting on a park bench, the sturdy oak tree they planted for Mr. Thompson standing tall before him, its leaves whispering memories in the evening breeze. His heart's a tangle of emotions, grief for the man who changed their lives, pride for his daughter Layla, now off at college, and a deep gratitude for their community's embrace. I had helped, James says, gesturing toward the tree, his voice soft but heavy with meaning.
Monsieur.
Thompson's legacy, it shaped Layla and me in ways I'm still uncovering.
Can you believe how one night at Mama Rosa's led to all this?
Officer Chun, sitting beside him, nods, her eyes warm, sharing a quiet moment as the setting sun paints the sky in vibrant oranges and pinks, a canvas of hope and closure. They sit in companionable silence, the park alive with the laughter of children and the rustle of leaves, until Officer Chun's voice breaks through, thoughtful and earnest. You know, James, I've been thinking. Layla's programs, the friendly visitors, the weekend backpacks, the kindness clubs, they're going to need someone to keep them alive now that she's off at college. Have you thought about that? James turns, his eyebrows shooting up, surprise flickering in his eyes. What are you suggesting, Officer Chun?
What is on your mind?
Her smile widens, bright with possibility. Well, you've got all this free time now, and you've been right there with Layla, learning, growing, pouring your heart into these projects.
Why not take over?
Keep Mr. Thompson's legacy thriving right here in our community.
What do you say?
James blinks, caught off guard, but a spark ignites within him, warm and electric. The idea of continuing the work he and Layla built together, the joy of seeing kids with full backpacks, seniors smiling during visits, fills him with a purpose he hadn't realized he needed. You know what? He says slowly, a smile spreading across his face, his voice gaining strength. I think I'd love that. I think I'd love that a lot. How could I say no to keeping that kindness alive? As they stand to leave, James casts one last look at the oak tree, its silhouette strong against the fading light. He can almost see Mr. Thompson there, nodding with quiet approval, a gentle smile on his face, as if blessing this new chapter. How powerful is that vision? Walking back to the apartment building, James feels a surge of energy, his steps lighter, his heart buzzing with purpose. Yes, Layla's off on her own journey, shining her light at college, but their work together doesn't end. It grows, like the oak tree's branches reaching ever higher. This could be a chance to expand their efforts, to touch even more lives with the simple, profound power of kindness. Can you imagine the ripple effect? As he climbs the stairs to his apartment, his mind races with ideas, each one a seed ready to bloom. He'll call the school tomorrow to keep the kindness club thriving. Maybe he can rally more volunteers at the senior center for the friendly visitors program. And he needs to check in with the food bank about the weekend backpack program. Those kids are counting on it. Entering the quiet apartment, James feels Layla's absence like a soft ache. The space once filled with her laughter now still, her college-bound suitcase is gone. But instead of the melancholy he braced for, a quiet determination settles in his chest, strong and steady. His daughter's out in the world, spreading kindness on a bigger stage, making a difference with every step. And here at home, he'll carry their torch, nurturing the seeds of compassion Mr. Thompson planted all those years ago at that fateful birthday dinner. How incredible that one night still echoes through their lives. As he gets ready for bed, James's gaze lands on the framed photo on his bookshelf, Layla and Mr. Thompson at Mama Rosa's, their smiles radiant, a moment of pure joy frozen in time. He smiles, his fingers gently tracing the frame, his heart full. Don't worry, Mr. Thompson, he whispers, his voice soft but resolute. We're still here, still spreading kindness, still changing the world one small act at a time. And we always will be, promise. With that, he turns out the light, ready to face the new chapter awaiting him in the morning. The apartment may be quieter now, but the legacy of kindness that transformed their lives hums with life, touching countless hearts in ways they might never fully know. Isn't that the most beautiful gift? Now let me ask you, imagine you're in Layla's shoes, an 8-year-old spotting a lonely old man celebrating his birthday all by himself at a restaurant. Would you have reached out, shared a smile, maybe even a slice of cake, like she did? Or would you have hesitated, unsure of what to do? Her courage started this incredible journey. How would you write your own story of kindness? If this tale of compassion and community touched your heart, please consider subscribing to my channel. I pour so much love and effort into crafting these impactful stories, and your support means the world to me. Thank you for joining this journey. Let's keep spreading kindness together.